Right. Thank you, Sarah, for recording and starting the transcript. All right.
No problem.
That's the help I need. I thought about it. Okay. Do you see a need for your frontline workers to use Microsoft Teams? And that's a question that we think about a lot, right? As we're exploring opportunities where some of the things that David will show you, how you can use them right with your frontline workers, right? We're talking all of our healthcare. So it's either maybe somebody who works in a pharmacy or somebody who's on the front line, like a nurse or a physician. And they carrying their own iPhone or Android, and they've got Teams, like a BYOD situation. So fill out the poll. Let's see some results, and we'll see what's up. I'm choosing only between 11:59 a.m. and 12:01 on full moons, but I don't know if that's a possibility or not. So fill out the form. Let's see what we got. I'm going to take the maybe. I'm going to check these results out myself, and here they come. All right, yeah, so great. We've got 76%. So that's really wonderful to know as we're thinking about you and use cases that you could use across for your frontline workers. So without further ado, I want to introduce David Ertl, and David's going to walk through some frontline worker scenarios, do some demos. David, over to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Sarah. Happy to be here, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Jonathan said we're going to be covering some ways that you can use Microsoft Teams to really impact your frontline workers. My name is David Ertl. I'm a training manager with Microsoft. I'm based in Cincinnati, Ohio. Go Bengals. It's insane that I get to still say that at this point in time of the year. A little hoo day for everyone. Hopefully this ages well. But I'm going into my 10th year here at Microsoft. In the last 3 years, I've been primarily focused on delivering or leading a team that delivers end user training on how to use and understand these really valuable Microsoft products and services to help your employees and reports collaborate better together, communicate better together, and be more productive overall. So what we're going to be doing today is it's going to be a mixture of a PowerPoint with some demonstrations, and then actually getting into some live demonstrations of some of these softwares and services that we're going to talk about today. If you have any questions, you're going to notice that your microphone and cameras are turned off during the session today, but feel free to fully engage us in the chat. Jonathan and Sarah will be there to answer any of your questions or ask me to take a pause and answer something or go back and show something. So what we're going to be covering today, we're going to be talking about how to leverage the power of Microsoft Teams, and we're going to be talking about several applications. We're going to show how to create and manage time using shifts inside of Microsoft Teams. We're going to set and conduct appointments with bookings. We're going to talk about that. We're not going to have time to show the bookings aspect today. We're going to give a little sneak peek on that. We're going to talk about automating tasks using approval. So how easy it is to stay connected and up to date with those approval processes in Teams. How easy it is to assign and review tasks with ease inside of Teams. Also show a little bit of Walkie Talkie functionality, and further discuss a little bit more about Microsoft Viva and specifically Viva connections. So Microsoft Teams we want to talk about how we can leverage the power of Teams. So Teams is going to let you equip your frontline workers with agile shift scheduling tools, deeper communication capabilities, and seamless task management, all in a single intuitive user experience. Teams is going to be the platform that industries trust to have the right tools and a single experience to share across corporate and frontline workers with real-time feedback and communication. And to get an extendable experience with the workforce management tools that you already use, like Microsoft Teams, is going to fit any industry and your company's specific needs. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is going to be shifts. Shifts is going to help you align schedules to your fluctuating needs while saving workers time and energy. So providing staff and schedule management with shifts in Microsoft Teams backed by tools that you already use, like Kronos, Blue Yonder, or Amion. So shifts is going to give managers ease and convenience in deploying schedules and give the employees greater control in viewing and managing these schedules. So they're going to be easily they're easily going to be able to create and deploy schedules to your workforce with shifts by either importing via Excel, and we do have Excel templates that you can use specifically for shifts, or with that partner manager that you're already using, or directly in shifts as well. Empower your workforce with self-service tools to manage their schedule, submit time off requests, submit clock in and clock out, and even be able to request shifts or request trading of shifts as well. Bookings is a Microsoft Teams lets you track, manage, and organize your team's appointments and calendars all in one place. You're going to be able to create bookings calendars and add team members to it, build new appointment types, and even create and manage in-person or virtual visits for you and your staff. Approvals in Microsoft Teams is a way to streamline all of your requests and processes with your team or partners. You're going to be able to create new approvals, view the ones that have been sent your way, and see all your previous approvals all in one place. And when we talk about creating approvals, you can also build approvals based on templates, or just have a free flow form that people can use to submit approvals as well. And what's great about approvals is they don't have to be just from direct reports to managers. It can be from peer to peer as well too. So you're also going to be able to use tasks inside of Microsoft Teams. And this is going to give frontline workers better control over tasks, and it's going to provide them with clearer directions with tasks in Microsoft Teams. Now, easily distribute tasks from headquarters to frontline locations, and then track and progress with task publishing. What this is going to do is it's going to help further reduce administrative tasks. So Planner and To-Do are now combined inside of Microsoft Teams, and also other aspects of Teams are integrated as well. It's going to help you create workflows for overseeing tasks and managing approvals. From the left-hand row of your Teams, workers are going to be able to see their assigned tasks and easily know progress and completion of that as well. Now, we also have some great aspects like Microsoft Teams Walkie Talkie. That's going to allow you to have critical and time-sensitive communication just one click away. So certain teams, like especially the ones in healthcare support staff, need to stay in communication for mission critical information, and Teams Walkie Talkie helps them do just that. The instant push-to-talk or PTT experience simplifies relaying vital information with no crosstalk ability for outsiders to eavesdrop, unlike with actual walkie-talkie radio signals. So I'm going to play a video really quick to go a little bit further into Teams Walkie Talkie. This is going to be walking through a retail type of scenario, but I think you can definitely connect the dots and how you could use it with your frontline workers and the healthcare industry as well. So let's go ahead and play that guy really quick.
Is all the more important. Whether you're a store associate, factory operator, or field worker, you're part of a team, and communication is at the heart of everything you do. You're always on the move, so the ability to connect quickly is all the more important. Meet Aziz, a floor manager at a local store. Aziz never walks the floor without Walkie Talkie, an app in Microsoft Teams. That's right, Aziz's smartphone becomes a walkie-talkie, providing instant voice communication so he's freed from the need to carry multiple devices. Aziz simply connects to Wi-Fi or cellular service and gets clear communication with no worry about or interference or any limitations on range. With Walkie Talkie's push-to-talk experience, Aziz can instantly contact the stockroom to check inventory for a customer. Aziz opens Walkie Talkie to view the store's Teams channels. He connects to the stockroom and sees active members. Then, he just presses and holds a button to talk and immediately hears his coworker Alex respond, all without leaving the front of the store. And if Alex has a push-to-talk headset, he can use Walkie Talkie while the phone is off in his pocket so he can be hands-free and heads up to focus on what matters. When it comes to secure, modern communication, Teams doesn't just talk the talk, it walks the walk.
All right, so a little video on Walkie Talkie. Hopefully that inspires some of you to maybe look into that a little bit further. All right, I'm going to keep my video off for the rest of the presentation, or at least for the next little bit. I'm getting some low bandwidth notifications on my end, so I do apologize for that. So yeah, just get my voice from here on out, which is fine. All right, next we're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft Viva. So I know we had an introduction to this a couple days ago, but just want to cover some of the basics again really quick. And we're also going to do a quick through demonstration on one of the Viva components, which is Viva Connections. Once we get through the Viva Connections, we're actually then going to do a live demonstration of some of those items that I've covered previously. So we're going to get into a live demo of shifts, of approvals, and of tasks after we get through this click through of Viva Connections. So Viva is actually a four-part platform that's easily integrated into Microsoft Teams to help drive better communication, to help provide learning, and to help just employees feel more connected. And it's made up of four parts, is Microsoft Viva. And it's what it's meant to do is help empower people and teams to do their best. And the four components that Viva is made up of is insights, topics, learning, and collaboration. So just a quick little brief description of all four of these is Insights is a platform in Viva that's going to bring together workplace analytics, My Analytics, and Glit to provide quantitative and qualitative data and insights to empower individuals and managers and leaders to improve organizational productivity and employee well-being. Viva Topics is going to focus on knowledge and expertise topics, and this is going to apply to AI. And this applies AI to identify knowledge and experts and organize them into shared topics. AI automatically is also going to create a topic page for each topic as well. It's like Wikipedia for your enterprise, where AI does the first draft. And these topic pages are surfaced as topic cards right in the flow of work in Office and in Teams. There's also Viva Learning, which is going to allow employees to easily discover informal and formal learning in the flow of work. It aggregates content from LinkedIn Learning, Microsoft Learn, as well as third-party training content and even your own organizational content. It also provides training recommendations and allows managers to assign and track training progress, as well as report on training within and across teams. And then finally there's Viva Connections, and this is a new employee app in Teams, and this is what we're going to be showing this click-through demo today. It's a gateway to your employee experience with personalized news, communication, tasks, people, and resources. It's going to provide a single curated employee destination that can be configured for specific roles like frontline workers and branded to match your company. So leaders can communicate and engage with their employees, and employees can easily get access to tools, information, and resources they need from one place. Connections is going to be built on existing capabilities in Microsoft 365, like SharePoint and Yammer. It pulls your communications together into a pre-configured app in Teams designed for both desktop as well as your mobile and frontline workers. It's also going to act as a landing pad for the other three Viva modules. So you're going to see insight, topics, and learning also flow in to Viva Connections. It's going to be the gateway to your modern employee experience. It's going to be the new home for your employee experience. It helps everyone stay engaged and informed by delivering a curated employee destination that can be configured for specific role, geo, and needs. Customers can, you're going to be able to brand and customize it as it's your own app. So the most successful companies right now are those that include and leverage the collective contributions of their employees, and Microsoft Viva makes it easy for everyone to weigh in, add value, and share their unique perspectives and expertise. In the feed, you can explore what's happening from across your organization. So you're going to be able to publish across popular applications to a single location. accessible to all employees. You're going to be able to highlight critical information so everyone has what they need to stay productive and safe. It's going to help reduce the noise and allow users to stay focused. It's going to help strengthen relationships across organizational silos, not only teams, but also organizational silos. And it's going to help you loop in experts and chase down answers. Now, your dashboard is the company home for the employee. It's going to be the centralized destination for an employee to find and act on a company task and specific action items for their job. Targeted to, it's going to be targeted so the right roles and geos see the right tools. So it's going to feed targeted corporate, division, and local news and announcement. The dashboard is going to be comprised of company and role specific tasks. And it's going to have resources including corporate portals and site communities and video, as well as role-specific, audience-targeted reference materials. So let's go through and go through a click-through demo on Microsoft Viva Connections. So again, it's going to be Viva Connections is going to be your gateway to a modern experience, allowing you to stay engaged and informed no matter where you're working. You're going to see this is going to be branded for a specific company called ReliCloud right here. Let's see if I can get rid of that. The Connection app is pinned. The Connection app is pinned to the top app bar, the left-hand rail in Teams, which we can see right here. Has our own branding in there. We were able to pin it right to the top of the left-hand rail inside of Teams. As you can see, it's customized for this specific organization called ReliCloud, so you can imagine what you can do with it for yours. There's a personalized feed of relevant news and announcements in conversations, so you're always in the know. You can keep up with important announcements from your company and your teams and join in valuable conversations across the organization with Viva's integration to Yammer. The feed uses content and signals from Microsoft Graph to make it personalized and relevant to you. And your organization can target communications and feature conversations to make sure the right information gets to the right people wherever they work. In addition to the personalized news feed and conversations, Connections gives you a personalized dashboard, and your dashboard is a single destination for all the helpful company resources and tools you need as an employee, such as health checks, time off requests, and resources for well-being and learning, like this reminder to take a break coming in from Viva Insights and this recommended training from Viva Learning. So we're seeing the integration from those other Viva applications into Connections. Of course, the dashboard is available on Teams Mobile as well. It's going to bring the same personalized experience with iOS as well as Android users. So we're going to be on any platform that employee can be on. And you're going to be able to tailor the experience for every role. Sorry about that. For example, you can add things like shifts and tasks you're going to be able to add things like shifts and task specific that are specific to frontline workers. Viva Connections builds on Microsoft 365 capabilities like SharePoint and Yammer. And you can integrate apps from across your digital workplace. So Connections is a place to discover a modern, personalized employee experience that keeps everyone connected, engaged wherever they work with Viva Connections. Awesome. So what we're going to do next is we're going to jump into some live demonstrations on some of those other products that I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation. So we're going to do some live demonstration of shifts inside of Teams. We're gonna start off with a manager perspective from all these, how to build that out, and then hopefully we're going to be able to show that employee experience as well too. But we're going to start with shifts, then we're going to go to approvals, and then we're going to wrap it up with that task management inside of Microsoft 365. So to do that, let me go ahead and get rid of my PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to get into our live demo environment. So I'm going to be presenting content from a demo account by the name of Megan Bowen. So you're going to hear me refer to Megan as Megan a lot today. She is going to be a manager of the oncology department at her organization, or head of oncology at her organization. So in order to use shifts, the first important thing to know is that there has to be a team that's created in order for shifts to be allowed. So we can see here we're inside of Megan's team, so we can see all the different teams that she's a part of. So in order to actually see the shifts that can be associated with these teams, what we're going to need to do is navigate over to the left-hand rail, and we're going to click on these little ellipses that are at the bottom of it. Once we click on that, we're going to see this window that expands out. And you're going to be able to see that I already have approvals engaged and enabled within Megan's profile. But if for some reason it wasn't showing up, all you would want to do is just come up here and then type in approvals and search for it. And if it hasn't been enabled, it'll then allow you to enable approvals. But let's go ahead and open it up. We're just simply going to click on approvals. And if you did not want to have to come through and navigate to approvals every time in the manner in which I just did, what you can do is just come over to the left-hand rail. Once you're in shifts, right click on it, and you can do pin. And now this is now going to always stay on your left-hand rail. And this is what's one of the really great things about Microsoft Teams is how easily you can customize it. So you're really focused on getting the work done that you need to get done and have that quick and easy access to it. So now that we're in, I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. Let's go to shifts here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and pin that guy. Awesome. So now that we're in shifts, you're going to see that we're immediately going to come to a shift, to a shifts page. And what the page that we're in right now is a page that's connected with that Contoso Health. So to see other shifts that Megan could be associated with, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to click on the little hamburger menu right here, and then we can see all the other shifts that Megan could be connected to. Now, I know what you saw at the beginning was that Megan was connected to a lot of different teams, but here we're only seeing 3 different shifts, and that's because the other teams may not be utilizing a shift at that point in time. So right now, Megan's connected in some capacity to 3 different teams that are utilizing shifts. We have Contoso Health, high-risk patient care, and telemetry unit. If she needed or wanted to add another shift to a team that she's in, what she would want to do is come down here and click on New Schedule. So right now, it's going to tell us no new schedules can be created. And the reason for that is because you can only create a shift schedule for a team that you are a owner of. So right now, what we can see is that Megan could possibly be an owner of any of these 3 teams, and that's why those shifts are showing up. But that isn't necessarily the case. Again, what we see here are shifts that have been enabled in a team that Megan is a part of. And you could easily tell if you're an owner of that shift or not by how that page looks. So for instance, this is what that Contoso Health page looks like. She has a lot of controls which we're going to dive into. But if I were to come back down to my hamburger menu and click on high-risk patient care, not nearly the same amount of controls right there. So this high-risk patient care shift schedule, she is only a member of. She's not an owner of that team. So she's just here to interact as an end user for the shift. She's not someone controlling the shifts that are being put out. And the telemetry unit, you can see here we have a lot of those admin controls that are back. So she's also an owner of this shift as well too. But again, in order to add a shift, you have to be an owner of that team. So that's why when I come down here and now click on New Schedule, I'm not seeing any options for Megan to go through and make a new shift for her team. It's because she's not an owner of any other team aside from the 2 that I've called out, which are the Contoso Health or the telemetry unit. Now, in the future, if she gets added to another team or she creates a team that she's the owner of, then she'll have the ability to then generate a new shift schedule for that team. But let's go ahead and do some work in this Contoso Health. So let's walk through how this is laid out and some of the functionality that we have within this. So as you can see here, Megan's been doing some work already within, Megan's already been doing some work within this shift schedule. And let's look at a couple of things automatically. So the first thing we see is we're looking at a weekly view right here from February 6th of this week to February 12th. So we do have a full 7-day week. We can change up this view to either have a daily view or a monthly view. And then as we go down, we're able to then see that we have a couple different what are called groups within this shift calendar. So we have admins, we have nurses, and then we have tests. And to add a new group or to create a new group, all you have to do is right up next to that daily, monthly, or weekly view, just go to add a new group. It's going to put it down at the bottom. It's going to automatically populate as an unnamed group. And all you have to do is just click on the ellipses and then rename that group. So let's just call this test demo group. And then we're going to hit save. And then right there, we're going to have, of course, it doesn't save it the first time. So let's try it one more time. Test demo group. Save it. There we go. So right at the bottom there. So now you have your group created. So the next part is then to add people into that shift or add people into a group. So let's go down to this test demo group that I just now created. And what I want to do to add folks to it is I just want to come over to the right-hand side of the screen and I'm going to click on add people. And what it's going to do is it's automatically going to list anyone that's associated with that team, which again is Contoso Health. So let me go ahead and add Miriam to this and hit add, and then I can come back again and add someone else to it. So what's important to know here is that it's not adding everyone to the list so you can automatically schedule them, but it's giving you access to everyone who's associated with that team to add them to the list and assign shifts to them. So let's go ahead and add them right there. And we can now see that in this test demo group, we have Miriam and Pradeep added in there. Now, as we're looking at this view, we can see we have this weekly view right here. We can see we have our groups delineated, and now we have individual users in there. Now, how do we schedule within this application? Super simple to do and pretty flexible and versatile way to do that. So the first thing that we can do is we can go into an empty day of an individual user, and we can either double click inside that particular cell, or we can click on the little ellipses there and we can do add shift or even add a time off. As a manager, we can add a time off for someone. So let's go ahead and add shift for Alex Wilbur here. And so a lot of customization can be done within this. So by default, when you add a shift, it's automatically going to be set up in an 8 to 5 scenario on that specific day. You can go through and change this to be anything you want. So if we want Alex to have to work a 12-hour shift, we can go in there and do that, put him at 11 a.m. and then to 11 p.m., right? Or even if he's going to work a 24-hour shift, we can have that done as well. But what we're seeing here is immediately that Alex is associated with it because we clicked inside his profile, and we can go from there and continue to build out this shift for him. Now,
hey, David, we actually have some questions in the chat that unfortunately Jonathan and we need to either research or maybe you know the answer. But are you able to copy and recreate upcoming schedules now in shifts? I know in the past we were not there yet, but have we made that change? Do you know?
Absolutely, and we're gonna get to that. So they're ahead of the game. So we're gonna show how you can copy individual shifts, or you can actually copy entire week-long or specific date range of shifts from one period to another.
Okay, and one last question because we're getting some ask here. Does it detect when a person is assigned to 2 conflicting shifts in a given period if the schedules are in different teams?
If the schedules are in different teams, that is actually a really good question. I do not have the answer to that off the top of my head. If it auto detects based on 2 different teams, if you have a conflicting schedule within the same team, it's a yes. But I don't know about if it shows it for conflicting teams.
Okay, we'll look into that and hopefully have an answer by the end of the session. Thank you.
No problem. Awesome. So as we're building out this first shift here, we have a lot of detail that we can put in it. You don't have to. Like if someone's just coming in and working 8 to 5, just put them as 8 to 5. Not a huge deal, right? But you can also go in and customize it. So as Megan is here making Alex's schedule, she can go in and instead of it saying like what time he's working, she can actually go in and put a custom label. So like right now, let me go ahead and save this. So right now it's going to show Alex's time as 11 to 11. That's how it's going to display in his shift. But if we wanted to, again, double click on it, go back in, and we can put a custom label. And we can put something like take out the old paperwork, right? If I could spell, that would be fantastic. And so instead of it showing the time on his shift card, it's actually going to show that description right there. And if you don't like that, go ahead and delete it. And what you can also do is kind of get the best of both worlds is you can come down here and you can actually add notes to the shift as well too. So we can say take out the old paperwork. And we'll show what that looks like in 1 second. Additionally, other things that you can do while you're in this screen is you can also go through and say how long of an unpaid break that this person's going to get. So for instance, Alex here is going to work 12-hour shift. So I'm going to say he's going to get 90 of unpaid breaks, right? Now I got a description, I got the time, I have Alex here, and let's say you accidentally clicked on the wrong person and you didn't realize it until too late. You're like, man, I don't want to go through and redo all of this. There could be the possibility where you could go through and put this as an open shift before you save it. And when you do an open shift, it's going to put it at the very top of that group for you to assign it to someone else. It's not going to allow me to do that right now because I've actually already saved it. So let's put this description back in, take out old paperwork. And we can be done, or we can further customize it as well too by adding in activities. So we could actually go through and we can get very granular with how Alex is supposed to handle this shift. So from like the first hour, we can say remove boxes from storage right here. And we can say, let's start that at 11, and we're going to give you until 1 o'clock to do that. And of course, that's going to be paid. We can also then color code what this specific time should be spent for. And also you're going to put a little code there, which is going to be 2 letters. So we can say RB for remove boxes right there. We can break it down even further to say review documents. So again, have 2 letters. We'll do RD for review documents. Let's put a different color with this. Let's go ahead and go with yellow. And again, we're going to give him another 2 hours to do this. And this is going to be a paid, another paid task for him to do throughout his day. Now, let's say it's time for Alex to take his first lunch. So we're going to go ahead and put in lunch. I'm going to put LB in there for lunch break. Let's put this as a red or a dark pink to show that, he's not supposed to be bothered during this time. Put it for an hour right here. So 4 to 5. Again, now this is going to be unpaid because he's on lunch. So we're going to do unpaid here. And let's go ahead and do this now. Dispose of documents. So DD. Again, this is optional. You do not have to do this. And then put another color code to it. Let's go ahead and do dark purple now, just because I want to. And let's have him doing this for 3 hours. So we'll have them, 3.5. We'll have them do this from 5 to 8:30. Let's have him take his last break from 8. So do LB. Kind of keep it consistent. Let's go back with that dark pink. So that way we know he's not to be messed with. Give him that half hour because, again, we did assign him 90 minutes of unpaid break here and put that as an unpaid. And then now let's go through and add his last 2 hours of cleanup.
So David, we do have a quick question, and I know you can do it under settings, but I'm not quite sure about individuals, but are you able to assign the time in different time zones? So let's say, here's the example given in the window. I'm a manager and I have a couple of members in Eastern and a couple in Central time zones. So can I switch base or add those time zones in the shifts activities?
Not in the activities, so you're going to have to manually compensate for that. When you set the shift up, you are able to set a time zone. But from my experience, I have not seen the ability to add in multiple time zones. I've only seen the ability to have one specific time zone.
Okay, great. I believe there's a user voice for this. I'll make sure to post it out if it's not available today. Maybe it's something the PG can look into adding in future updates. Great question.
Yeah, I did see an article where if you used a Power App, right, you could use Power Automate to go against the shift to have people change. So you could use a front end this into a Power App and use Power Automate to do the conversion by shift.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we now have Alex's day pretty well planned out with activities, right? So we have him working this 12-hour day, got pretty clear direction of what he's supposed to be doing, when he's supposed to be breaking. So let's go ahead and hit done. And also, one thing before I hit done, you're also going to know that this is grayed out now because I've utilized his whole shift. So it's not going to allow me to add anymore. So let me go ahead and hit done. We can see how his day is broken up here. And if we wanted to, we can even color code this even further at the top. So we can actually go through and see how the background is blue right now. I could also go through and maybe mark that whole thing as dark pink to let people know that, hey, he's got a solo task today. He's not to really be messed with, right? He needs to focus on this job. And that's what that dark pink can be. But you can go through and determine what all these would be, what these would be used for. Create your own key for it, right? And one other thing before we move on, let's say this is this is going to be admin work. But let's say this wasn't admin work and I needed to put it somewhere else. I could easily move this shift to a different group that Alex is associated with inside of this shift, right? So now I have this all cleaned up. I have this all laid out. Let's go ahead and hit save right there. So now it's on Alex's calendar. Now, what's great about shifts is that I can actually easily take this and I can right click on it and I can copy it from that cell and I can go to another cell and say, you know what, Alex, I need you to do this on Friday. So we come over here, right click on that cell that's on Friday and paste it. And it doesn't even have, that copy and paste doesn't even have to be locked to a user or specific group, because I could actually come down to Pradeep and I can say, no, Pradeep, I need you to do this on Monday as well. And then if I double click on it, it's actually going to copy over all of that same information that was in there as well. So it makes it super simple to create a shift once, and then just all you have to do is copy and paste it. Now, what if you need to make a shift, just like a really generic shift, and assign it to multiple people? It can get kind of tedious, right? To have to go, hey, I need all these people here and the nurses to work 8 to 5 on Tuesday. That can get a little tedious. So instead, what we can do is you're going to notice that at the top of each of these groups, we're going to have open shifts. And so what an open shift is a shift that I can generically create and then easily assign it out or delegate it out to anyone else on that team. Or that's inside that specific group. So let me go ahead and click on the little ellipses here. I'm going to do open shift. And now I can create just a very generic shift, right? Now you can add details like we saw with Alex if you need to. But otherwise, if you just need to be generic, just put your time there. Have it marked how you want it to mark. This is just a general shift, and we're just going to have that labeled as blue. And then what we can do is right here, you're going to see under time slot, I can actually go through and say, I know I have 3 people that are part of the nurses, so I'm going to replicate this task 3 times. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then now when I come back up to the top here, right here are those 3 open shifts that I can now easily delegate out. And it's actually going to tell me in a little box right there that I have 3 shifts to assign out. And then now what I can do is I can hit the little ellipses and I can do add open, I can do assign open shift. And I'm going to put this on Adele and I'm going to put this on Alex. But something I immediately notice is that, oh wait, Linda already had a shift for that day. So now I have an extra one left over here. So what I could do is I could easily go through and delete this shift, or I could go back into this shift and I could easily change it. So you know what? I actually want to change, I want to use this extra shift and move it up to my test demo group here. Go ahead and save it. And then now that open shift that originated in nurses, it'll be right down here in the test demo group. And I can easily click on that and assign it to one of these folks as well too. So it's super easy to generate these shifts, break them down into get really specific with how they should be doing their days, and copying and replicating it, either utilizing a simple copy and paste from cell to cell, or making very generic ones or repeatable ones in the open shifts and then assigning them out. And so once you have this built out, what you can easily do now is come up here to copy schedule. So we're going to click on copy schedule, and this is going to make your life much, much simpler, because now I can say, you know what, I want this particular week of shifts that I've done to be replicated. So we're going to do the 6th to the 12th. I want this to be replicated the week of the 27th. So now I'm going to hit copy. But before I do that, I can actually say, should I replicate all of this? So if someone had a time off request during this week, I would uncheck that off, because they're probably not going to have the time off request that week again, right? Or possibly not. So we can uncheck that if we needed to. We can uncheck any of these. So like if we don't want to, if maybe the activities are going to be different within those shifts, we can uncheck that, and it'll keep the shift, just not the activities, like we did for Alex on that one day. And we can go ahead and copy this. And now it's going to copy the shift that we had from the 6th to the 12th, and it's going to duplicate that for the week of the 27th. So now I can come up to my view here, and I can go over to the 27th, and there's that same exact schedule that I just made from the 27th. Now let's go back to the 6th this week, because we do have some issues that we have to work through. So as you're looking at your week, you're going to notice that it's going to let you know if they have any discrepancies within the shift. So right here, I can see that I have 2 conflicts within this shift. Now, again, this is going to show you the conflicts within a specific shift schedule. I don't know if it reflects conflicts for each individual user, if they have shifts scheduled in multiple different teams, right? But within a single team, it will show you any of those instances. So I can say I have 2, and as I look through the shift, I can actually see where those 2 instances are. And the reason that it's only showing me 2, even though we have 4 little triangles here, is because it's only going to show me days or users that are impacted. So for this, it's Alex for each conflict, and it's 2 days specifically. So what I could do is say, well, Alex is working as an admin, doing this paperwork on Saturday, and also doing admin work, or doing this paperwork as a nurse on Saturday. So I just need to delete one of them. So what I can do is come down to the nurse one, go ahead and hit delete, or I can also go through and edit this and maybe move it around if I wanted to. But I'm just going to go ahead and delete it, and now I'm going to remove one of those conflicts immediately. If it will delete. We'll give it a second here. But once you delete it, of course, it's not going to delete right now. Once you delete it, then you'll be down to 1 conflict. And let's actually go ahead and try this. Like this guy right here. Let's delete it and see if it gets out of there. Have to give it 1 second here because it's not removing for me. Let me progress the calendar forward and come back and see if it gets rid of that for me. All right, still there, but that's all right. That is all right. Do I have him listed anywhere else? I don't think so. So it's going to tell me that I still have 2 conflicts. I'm not really sure why that's there, because it should immediately go away. But it's really going to help you easily identify those instances where you're going to have those conflicts and resolve them. So once you've created your schedule, you can then disseminate it out to either the entire team or to just the team members that you want to see it. And we'll do that by utilizing the share with the team option right up here. So we click on share with the team. It's going to ask us what schedules we want to share. So right now I'm just sharing out this specific week, the week from the 6th through the 12th. But if I wanted to, I know I have I know I have a shift schedule created from the 6th through the 26th now. So if I wanted to, I could publish all of this at one time. So click on the 6th, go to the 26th. I could put all these out so the entire team or just the affected team members can see it. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the 12th for right now. So let me go ahead and click on the 6th, do the 12th again, and I'm going to go ahead and hit share. And so now this has been posted to the entire team. So now what you're going to notice are I actually selected just the affected team members. So now what you're going to see is that the share with the team button is now grayed out. That's because this schedule right now is finalized, no changes have been made, and it's good to go. If I were to go in and add a shift for some reason, right here, you're going to see I can now share this with the team again because I made a change and I can publish that change. So that's important to know that anytime that you make a change, it's not going to go live to the people associated with this until you hit share with the team. So again, I'll go ahead and hit share with the team and hit share right there. Now, let's say that a mistake was made, right? And you publish you publish that schedule too early, maybe by accident, or there's just too many mistakes on there, and you need to have them rectified. And I just want you to notice that it did take a hot second, but those discrepancies, those conflicts were resolved right here. But let's say we did send out that schedule a little bit too early. We can now come over here to these ellipses at the very top right-hand corner, and we're going to be able to view that schedule first. So this is what the members or the people who are associated with this schedule, this is what their view is going to look like. But if we did make a mistake, we could go through and we can recall the schedule. And so now once we recall the schedule, again, we can select the date range. So maybe if you just messed up one day, you could just recall that one day if you needed to. But for this instance, I'm going to recall this whole week of the 6th through the 12th. So I'm going to hit recall. Now, again, you're going to see the share with the team button is back because this schedule is not published. And if I come back to the ellipses up here, right next to that share with the team button, I can actually do view share calendar and check that out. I now know that the members associated in the groups of this team are no longer seeing that schedule because I recalled it. But again, I can now go through, fix those issues that I have, and I can post it to the team again. So you can see how easy this is to use. Easily add the people that you want to add a group, and then add the people to that. And also something to keep in mind, feel free to add people to more than one group. I know I've showed it and I failed to really call it out, but Alex is a member of the admin group as well as the nurse group and of the test group. So you can add them to as many groups as you would like to. Go through and customize your view. Right now we're looking at a weekly view, but when you come in and say, hey, what's going on today? Who's working? You can have that weekly view. Get a more holistic view with month, right? If you want to post your schedule in sort of a break room or something so people can see it, you can also print this out. But again, people are going to have access to this in Teams and also on Teams on their mobile, so they can have access to their schedule at any time. And then easy ways to filter it down by groups or members or different types of shifts, like anything that has conflicts and things like that. And then change your view. So view, right now we're looking at it by team shifts. We can also switch it so we're just looking at it by specific people, or maybe even get rid of the groups, right? So you have a lot of ways you can easily go through and view this. Now, if you're someone I mentioned earlier, if you do not like this interface, what you can do is you can actually easily come up here and you can export this schedule into an Excel document, and you're actually going to see you can actually export it in a format that can be re-imported. So if you work with someone and they really love doing everything in Excel, they can still do that and then import that document back up into shifts, or again, utilize those Excel templates that we already have built out that are compatible inside of shifts. Now, we're in Megan's profile and she is a manager, so she's also going to have a couple other options for her. So she's going to have the ability to request time off of work, but also view the requests off of people on the shift, again, because she's an owner of this shift schedule. So Megan can see her own request, and she can see that she requested these days off, and that she's waiting for Deborah to approve it, because Deborah's another manager of the team, and she can approve her peers' time off requests. But we can also see that Alex has put a request off for Megan to approve for April 9th, and she can go through and approve that, or even deny it and give a note as to why either one of those things are happening if she wanted to. And then it's going to then list it in a pending or in progress, and as well as a completed view. And then Megan can also go up and put her own time request off in, and it can either be a time off request and actually get very specific. Is this an unpaid, sick day, just off, parental leave, or vacation? She can also put in a shift request, a shift swap request. Say that thing 3 times fast. Or offer to pick up an open shift or a shift from a team member. So a lot of flexibility how your users can interact with it. And this right here, this is not just a Megan as an owner thing. All the members that are part of the shift schedule that have shifts can go through and utilize this feature. And then we also have our settings over here too. So this is where you can set your time zone. Again, it's only giving me one specific time zone that I can choose. So I have to investigate or send up that request to add multiple, right? With your request, as we can select those time off requests, we have some default ones built in, but you can also customize that and add your own. And then with the time clock down here, this is really cool because you can actually add a geo-specific location of where they should be clocking in at. And this is great for not only the desktop user, but also even better for those mobile users. So you can actually put in change settings location, and you can put in the longitude and latitude of a specific location of where someone should be clocking in. Now you're probably saying, well, how the heck do I get that? Super easy to do using Bing Maps or even Google Maps to get that latitude and longitude of a specific location. Now, it's not going to be a specific location in the building. It's going to be more of the entire building type of situation. So you could actually turn that on if you wanted to. If they're not in that location, it's not going to stop them from clocking in, but it is going to let them know, like, hey, you're not where you're supposed to be. Now, the last thing I want to show here is right at the top here, we have our clock in. And so Megan has this because she has a shift scheduled, and anyone else that's here that has a shift scheduled can also go in and they'll have access to clock in. And what they'll do is they can clock in within Teams on the desktop, and they have the same capacity in the Teams mobile application as well. So we can click on clock in. Are you sure you want to clock in and start? Going to hit yes. There we go. At the top, it's going to have our running clock of how long that Megan's been working. And if we hit the drop down arrow, we can actually see that she can start her break or end her shift. And then you also have the ability to export timesheets as well too, for more manipulation or we'll hope not manipulating, but just verify things like that. Especially if you're using those third-party systems, you can easily export those and import them into the correct system that you're using. So you can see how easy Shifts is to set up, to connect it to a team and then build that out. And we've released so many more features now to make your life easier when it comes to duplicating the work that you've done. So you can copy and paste cell to cell or copy an entire schedule. And again, I do want to point this out that it just doesn't have to be a week, because I can choose like the 6th through the 26th if I wanted to, right? And down here, I'd have to come down here and replicate that, but you can do a longer shift there. I think I saw Jonathan coming off of mute to say something.
No, you got it. I was going to ask, there's a couple of questions up top that I thought we could address. Bargrov has a question about time zones again, and he's working late in IST, which starts at 6 a.m. and then the day ends the next day, which falls between. How do you, creating new schedules? We might have to wait on that one, but more Brian had asked another question about creating a gold standard, and you could then copy and paste to future dates as your base, because once modifications start getting made on existing ones, Any copy of that schedule is going to be muddled by other modifications, making a copy schedule feature something managers need to go back and forth to review closely. So yeah, it's something we'll just take offline and maybe we'll address Brian directly. But
Okay.
it's all looking great. Awesome.
Awesome. But with that copy and paste, you don't have to keep everything that's in here. So like I copied that week of the 6th to the week of the 20th, but I can say, hey, Megan needs that day off. I can go in or she needs to do something else. I can delete that and it's not going to impact that other schedule whatsoever. And then we also go back a week or two, or go forward a couple weeks, sorry, because Alex had put some time off requests in that had been approved, and this is what that's going to look like. So when those requests come through and they are approved, that person's automatically going to be blocked out for easy and quick viewing of that. All right, so that shifts. So what we're going to jump into now is we're going to jump into approvals. So approvals is a really versatile piece of Microsoft Teams that can be accessed and used in a variety of different ways. But to start off our presentation, I'm going to come back down to the ellipses here, expand that out, and I'm going to simply, again, look for approvals that's in this box or search for it. But I was a little bit ahead of the game and I actually already had it pinned to my left-hand rail. So I can just click in that and I can open it up. Now, approvals is great because it has a lot of Microsoft service integration, a ton of Microsoft service integration, but you could also potentially tie in third-party service integration as well, like Adobe Sign or DocuSign. So Megan's organization here does utilize this, but Megan just does not have active subscriptions to utilize these, so we won't be focusing on those today. So what we're going to see within this approval page is that we at the very top, it's broken into either received or sent. And what's great about this, as I mentioned at the beginning, approvals do not just need to be going from reports to managers, right? It can go peer-to-peer as well too. And that's why everyone's going to be able to receive approvals that they've received, and they'll also have line of sight to see approvals that they've sent. And you're going to be able to see a history of it. So we can see right here that Megan's approvals have not been approved yet. They're still in the requested status. And we can see that Patty Fernandez here still needs to approve Megan's request. So what Megan can do as a requestee is she can go in and say, hey, Patty, I need to follow up on this. And it's going to send Patty a notification that she needs to take a look at Megan's approval that she put in. And then as a manager, someone who's being asked to approve something, Megan can see all the approvals that are outstanding and pending to her, see when they were created, by whom they were created, and then she'll also see what status they're in. Are they still in request status, or have they been in approved status? And then to approve one, all she has to do is click on it, go in there, and she can come down, see any notes that this person may have put in, and we'll talk about that more in a second. And Megan can either approve or reject this and leave comments either way, or she has a third option to reassign it. So let's say that maybe Alex sent this to Megan and this isn't Megan's department, or this isn't something that she should be doing. She can reassign it. And let's actually throw this over to Patty. So right there. So now we're taking this out of Megan's hand and assigning it to the correct person that should be in charge of assigning this. Now, what we can do is, we're going to talk about this in a second, is we're going to talk about how when you set up a task template, you can determine whom that person will need to ask for that approval. So let's take a look at our task templates right down here at the bottom. So when we're in the approvals page, we can come down here to create or manage templates. And we can see here that we do have it broken down right now into these 4 tasks that Megan or the organization for the Contoso Health team has created. And this is another key point. The templates that you use are going to be team specific. So just like when we created a shift, it was a team specific functionality. The templates that you're using are also team specific. Now, when we were to come back, let's close this out real quick. The approvals are not team specific. This is just going to show you all of the approvals that you've received from any sort of means, right? But when you create a template, it's going to be team specific. And right now we have 4 different templates that Megan's created. And to create a template, you just simply come up here to new template. And you can use a lot of templates that Microsoft already has generated with different types of functionality. So you can do something for activity, like if we need to go out of the office, right? Or maybe we need to work on some sort of gift for someone. Have administrative stuff right here, like, you know, if you need to delegate out vehicle access for that day, or request some sort of maintenance. Attendance, to keep track of business trips, or if someone wants to go on a business trip, they can put in a request. Finance for reimbursement. Old management things down here like purchase orders, sales orders, or you can just come in here and bake your cake from scratch if you wanted to. Again, assign it to what team would be most appropriate, and then you could really build this out. So it can be as basic as you want or more advanced if you wanted to. So what we're going to start is just we're just going to demo number 3. Just going to give it a title. If it has a specific category, you can choose one. So would this be something that would really fall under finance or attendance or something like that, right? You can do that. And you can also go through and put a description of what this task or what this approval would be for specifically. But once you have this information filled out, go ahead and hit next. And then from here, we're actually going to design the form of what information that we need supplied for this approval. So we can go ahead and hit add new, and you can do a multiple choice. You can do a text-based question where you either have a short answer or a long answer, or you can also have it on a date, required or not, right? Make these required if you need to have them or not, right? Fill out your information that you need to have in there. And you're not stuck with just using one of each of these. You can build them out pretty well. So for instance, if you needed to build a COVID health tracker for approval, like maybe someone wanted to go to a specific building and you needed to show that they had the appropriate documentation or the appropriate vaccination stats they needed to have, if that was a thing that we needed to have done, you build out an approval specifically for that. And once you have your information filled out for form design, then we're going to go to workflow settings where you can have a file attachment done, right? So if you need some sort of proof, like again, if this could be a COVID check-in, you could say, hey, I need a copy of your vaccination status. You can have that required that they apply a file that has to be done. And then here is where, when you're building out these templates, you can designate who the requesters are going to be. So you can say, I'm going to let the user or the requestee determine who they want to ask. Or you can say, you know what, I need Megan, myself, and Patty to be in charge of this. So we are the only people that can approve this COVID on-site visit. And then from there, you can actually even customize your responses. Right now, it's set to the automatic approve or reject, but you can also go through and add your own custom responses if needed. And then once you're done, just hit preview. This is what it's going to look like for our requestee, and we're going to hit publish. And now what we're going to see is that we now have another demo template up here for those folks to use. And so when our people on our team would want to use a specific template to request something on this team, they're going to have these 5 to choose from. But they'll also have the ability to just use a blank template when they request. So let's say Megan needs to request something from someone. She can actually come up here to new approval request, and she can go through and either use the basic type of request right there. And again, you also have the e-side if you're utilizing those third-party services. But she can use a basic request, where she can actually kind of customize this on her own if she needed to. Or she can also choose from those templates. And what you're going to see is it's actually built out by team-specific templates. So if Megan was a part of different teams that had templates created for approvals, it would then have them segregated in each team. Right now, the only templates that she has are connected to Contoso Health. So if she needed to use that new template I just created, she could do that. So that demo 4, she could go through and fill that out right there. All that information and send that out. And then in Megan's case, if she was going to send that out, it would then show up in Patty's receive box for her to approve. So super simple to keep track of all the requests or approvals that are coming in, and the approvals can come in from more than one place. So right now we're utilizing the approval specific application in Teams, but we can also do approvals from within a chat conversation. And actually what we're going to see here is that Alex Wilbur and Megan are engaged in a conversation. And Alex has actually put in an approval to Megan directly within this chat, and Megan can approve or reject it within the chat. But again, if I come down to my approval application on the left-hand rail, right there's that time off request that take the rest of the day off that Alex had put in. But we could come up to the chat, and again, Megan can either approve, reject, or view more details of this. And let's just go ahead and approve it, and she can leave a comment. And the way you pull up the approvals in a chat is down here right beneath your text bar. You could possibly see this little approvals icon, which is that quarter circle, 3/4 circle that's full with a check mark. If you don't see it down here, just click on the ellipses and it would show up here, or you search for it again. But let's open this up. And now you can see here that Alex can use the blank template, the basic one, or if we had templates set up for a conversation, he could use that. We haven't created templates right now for this specific chat, so we don't have any templates to choose from. So we would just use a basic chat, but it's all funneling back to that approval application. So Megan can approve it within the chat, or go down to approvals and keep track of it. And same thing with a team. So we've been looking at approvals inside the approval templates that were connected to the Contoso Health team. So inside the Contoso Health team, like we're coming down to start a new conversation, we can come in and see, hey, there's that approval icon again. We can click on it, and anyone inside the team can actually now put an approval inside of a channel, and this is going to give everyone that has access to that channel line of sight of this approval. Now, only certain people can approve it, right? There's going to be owners of the team or someone that an owner has designated, but at least the entire team can see it. And you can see here when we're in the channel, I can still use the basic template where it just kind of creates something from scratch from that user, or we now have access to the templates that have been specifically created for this channel. And again, we can see an instance right here of Megan putting an approval for Patty Fernandez. So while not everyone on the team can approve or deny it, the entire team can now see that, oh, hey, Megan wants some time off on the 27th through the 5th. I should keep that in mind. And they'll also then, once this gets approved or denied by Patty, they'll have line of sight as to if that was approved or denied or not. But you can see the power of approvals within Microsoft Teams and how easy it is to stay up to date and have that extra level of communication to know what you all need to get done for your day. All right, where I want to go to next is I want to talk about tasks by to-do and planner inside Microsoft Teams. Sarah, Jonathan, is there anything I should call out or go back and revisit with approvals before I move on?
Barbara, I've asked, do we have reporting for approvals, like when was the request submitted for the approver and when the approver approves and what average time for the approval? And my reply back was, you certainly use Power Automate to extend that functionality.
Yeah, and you'll get some. I don't know if there's a way to. I think Power Automate may allow you to provide some sort of aggregated report for everything. But again, all your approvals are going to show up that you receive to approve in your received tab here, and you can go in and see when it was requested. And then if we double click on it and open it up, you're going to be able to see when it was. Hit the wrong one. We get one that's actually approved. There we go. You will be able to go in and see when it was actually approved, in this case by Megan, right? So you will have that line of sight. So final status approved, Megan approved this 3 hours ago. But I'm sure, yeah, using Power Automate, I know there are approval integrations with that to maybe get a more detailed view of that. Awesome. So let's go in next and look at tasks by planner and tasks by to-do and planner. So again, we're going to start on our left-hand rail. Going to click on the ellipses here, and we can already see it's already integrated. But again, if we don't see it, just search for it. And if you don't want to have to come down every time and do that search or do that pop out, again, pin it. So now it's always on your left-hand rail. And also drag these up and down if you want to. So if I want my task to be up towards the top of my left-hand rail, just drag it and drop it wherever you want it to be. But what tasks and teams to do in Planner does, it combines your own personalized to-do list using Microsoft To Do, that application, as well as the use of planners that are connected to Microsoft Teams. So one of the big differences so far in this presentation is that I mentioned that when you use shifts to create a shift, or when you create an approval template, you have to be an owner of that team to create either of those instances or manage those instances. With a planner, though, it is it can be a much more collaborative experience, because anyone on the team could potentially go through and create a new planner. So the planners are team specific. So what you're going to notice here is we have a plan created for Contoso Health, and we have a plan created already for the telemetry unit. And not only are they not only are the planners team specific, but they're also channel specific. So we can see here under Contoso Health, we actually have a planner for our general channel. And under our telemetry unit, we have a planner for our cardiac education unit. So shared plans, this is going to show you a more communal, collaborative space with everyone on a team. Up here at the top, these are going to be things that are specifically for you. You're going to have your tasks that come through from your planner. And then at the very bottom, you're going to have tasks that have been assigned to you by someone else. And this could actually be tasks from your own, or this can be tasks that you've assigned to yourself to your to-do. It can be tasks that have been assigned to you in a planner. It could also be tasks that have been assigned to you from our upgraded meeting notes and meeting agenda functionality that are coming out in Teams meetings. To create a new planner, it's super easy to do. You just come down here and do new list or plan, give it a name, test plan, and select where you're going to create this at. You can create a planner just for you. So if you select My Tasks, this is a planner that is only for you. But you could also create a planner for any of these other teams. And again, note that I established before that Megan is only an owner of the Contoso Health and the telemetry unit. But she's a member of all these other teams, and she has the permission to make a planner. Now, the owners of those teams can restrict that access and not allow people to do that. But in this instance, it looks like they're set up so the owners are allowing any member of a team to create a planner. So we already have a planner created for Contoso Health. The general channel, we have one for the cardiac education channel telemetry unit. Let me go ahead and make one for clinical outcomes. And again, now it's going to list our channels. We're going to do hand hygiene right here. And so when you create your planner, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to your just general list view. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to quickly create a task and assign it out to somebody. So I can say, wash your hands, right? Assign it to anyone that's on that team right here. See if Alex is on this team. There he is. I can put a level of priority to it. Let's say this is urgent. He has a problem. Put a date. Let's say he has to do this today. And now it has the option bucket listed, but I only have one bucket. So we're going to explore that here in a second. But now let's go ahead and check that off, and it's good. And now we know that Alex has to wash his hands. But actually, let's go ahead and add more people, because we can actually assign it to more than one person. And so what you're going to notice is if we double click on this now, it's actually going to open up a larger card for us to do more modifications to. So I can add a label to it, so you can really delineate what this is for. Change the bucket, which we're going to explore, change your date and time, add notes, add a checklist, add attachments, and even have a conversation of what's going on with this task, and also put what status level this task is in. Now, I want to go back up here really quick to our Contoso Health daily activities planner that we made. Because when you create a planner, it's going to show in list view, right? And it's just going to do a quick view of all the tasks that are created and associated with that planner. But if I come over to board, I can now actually expand that out. So you notice that when I created a task for Alex to do in this test on the on the hand hygiene channel for clinical outcomes, I can only assign it to the to-do bucket. And that's because when you create a planner, it only has one bucket. And these buckets are like different categories, and you can use them to delineate different job types, different locations, different projects, or very role-specific things that have to be done. So you can see here in this board, I've created that's associated with the daily activities in the general health, our Contoso, and the Contoso team. I've created these 5 buckets. And the way this board works is you scroll left to right, and then the tasks go vertically within those buckets. So now if I come back over to lists and I create a new task, and I can create a task from the board view. So I can say, Alex, what's up? I don't know why that would be a task, but we're going to say it is. I can now assign this to Alex right here. Again, give it the priority, say it's medium, say when it's going to be due, tomorrow. And now I can change the bucket right here. And so right now I clicked on the wrong button, unfortunately, and I need to edit this. So I can do one of two things. I can double click on it, open it up, and change the bucket here. Or I can actually come over to the board view and just easily drag this over to task 4, if that's the correct bucket it should have been in. And there's a lot more to planner that unfortunately don't have a ton of time to dig deep into, but you can get very, very granular with this. And it's also going to give you a great analytical view of it as you get more items involved in this. Because right now you've seen I've shown the list view and the board view, but I can also go into a chart view, right? And I can say, oh, look at all these things that are going on. What buckets have the most tasks in it? How many? What are the different priority levels? How many people have a task assigned to them? And then I can also view in a schedule or calendar view of what needs to be done when. And this is something that everyone on the team is going to have access to. And you can even filter it down even more too, right? Just by look by specific people, just look by specific buckets, whatever you wanted to do. So again, the shared plans, this is going to show you a more communal experience of what everyone on that team needs to work on. And on top of this, it's going to show you everything that's assigned to you, no matter the location, whether it came from a planner, your own to-do list, or like I said, a task that came through from your team's meeting agenda notes. And then you also have full access to your, if you use the to-do application, have access to your to-do at the top. But what's great is that on the left-hand rail in the task by to-do and planner, you have a holistic view of everything that's going on. But I could easily come into those teams. So let me go to my Contoso Health team, go to the general channel, because that's where I had that planner created. And inside that general channel, right there is a new tab called Daily Activities, and that is the name of that planner. So go into Daily Activities, and I can see that planner. And I can have that same view of either list, board, or whatever. But now you can see how much of a communal experience this is, because I had my own individualistic view over here on the left-hand rail app, but now I'm in the team. It can be much more collaborative because everyone on the team is going to have access to it, and everyone can go in. So like when Alex is doing work, he could go in and make edits to this if he needs to. So if Alex decides to, hey, for me to complete this task, I need a checklist, and I need to turn on water. If I could spell, that would be great today, guys. Turn on water. Use soap. Rinse. Repeat. Dry. And he can fill this out as he's going along. So he can say, you know what, I got my soap, I've rinsed, hold on, I need to take a break, because he can go and put it in progress. Or people can update this for him, right? Because I'm still logged in as Megan and I'm doing this for Alex. But that's what's great about this, view these tasks by planner inside each individual team. or have your own individual look within the left-hand rail application. So I got a couple minutes. So what I want to quickly do, if I can get this to work, is I'm going to try and bring up a mobile experience and show you a day in the life of Alex when he would come in. Just give me a quick little view. So let me attempt to get this up and running for you all. Perfect. So let me drag this over here. 1 second here. There we go. We'll bring this up here. All right, let me bring this application over here. I have to do it this way. I was trying to get it set up before I pulled it over, but it wasn't going to work. Awesome. So when Alex comes in for the day, he'll come in, he can click on Teams, and the first thing he's going to want to do, he's going to want to come in and hit More, search for his applications, and he's going to want to click on Shifts. So for what he's going to want to do is come in, and he's going to want to clock in. So you can actually see that Alex is already on the time clock, so he can now either end his shift or, hold on, it looks like I exited out. Apologize, let me try and establish connection one more time on this.
Yep.
4411. Okay, try it one more time here.
We can see it.
Perfect, awesome. So he'll come into his shifts. Again, click the little ellipses, get your other apps. There you're in shifts. He's going to want to clock in or clock out or take his break, right? He's probably going to want to see who he's working with that day. So he can come in and he can see the shifts for all the team on Contoso Health. Oh, look at this. I'm working with Megan, I'm working with Patty, and I'm working with Linda today. And I know I'm in an admin role today, right? So now they just clocked in. He can either start working, but now he's like, you know what? I forgot. I need my vacation request off in so I can make sure I get that. So he can come over to time. Sorry, I hit the wrong one. He can come over into requests, put a new request in, and again, do that shift swap, that offer shift to another, or request that time off and put it through so Megan or another owner of the shift can see it. So next thing he's going to want to do after he's clocked in and working, he's going to want to come over to activity. What do I need to see? What pertains to me that I needed to catch up on? He can see right here that Megan has assigned a couple tasks to Alex. So he definitely wants to know if he needs to, what he needs to follow up on. So what he'll then do is come over to More again, and let's go into Task by Planner. So let's see what's been assigned to me. So click on Assign to Me. Oh man, I need to do these, and Megan really needs me to finish washing my hands. I'll click on Wash Your Hands. I'll go in. Again, I can edit all this stuff that I need to, right? Edit anything that I need to in here. Look at the checklist items and complete those items if I needed to. But when I'm done with my hands, I just click on that Wash Your Hands to complete it. It's freezing on me a little bit. I do apologize. There we go. Now it's completed. It's no longer going to be in my outstanding list here, but I can go through and I can sort this out so I can see what items I have completed by clicking those ellipses and clicking on Show Completed. But Alex then can see, oh, hey, you know what? I need to do work on this improved patient rating. It's way overdue. So let me actually come back over here to Approvals by clicking the ellipses and clicking on Approvals. And he can let Megan know that he needs something else to be done in order to get that particular task done that's been assigned to him. So he can come in, hit the plus button, and create either the basic request or use one of these templates to go through and create that request. And it's then going to go to Megan for approval. But at any point in time, Alex can come back into his day, come back into his sent, or even receive, because again, the approvals can be sent peer-to-peer, but he can check the status of those requests. And if there's something that's preventing him from doing that, he can go in and request a follow-up on that. So for instance, I need to go on site. One of Alex's tasks that was in there, he needs to go visit a building and do an audit. So he can come in here, click on that go on site request because Megan's taken forever to approve it, and he can go in and say, hey, I need a follow-up on this. Or, you know, he's on the Teams app. He can go in and just in a quick chat message is like, just go in and talk to her. Approve me, please. And send a little message that way. So you can see how easy it is for your users to stay connected when they're even on a mobile device. Alex could go in and see his whole day, get started and interact with anyone he wanted to, complete those tasks, send those approvals, and just be more productive. And it was super simple for Megan in this case, or any administrator, to really get any of those tasks up and running. So that is all I have for you today. And I'll go ahead and throw it back over to Sarah and Jonathan.
Awesome, David. Thank you so much. Everybody who stayed with us, really appreciate great questions. Keep them coming.